You turn on notifications.
All right, it's live, so.
Hey guys, welcome to Coffee and Questions.
Good morning.
So we have a
Trying
new,
something new today.
exactly, we have a new format. So instead of in our webinar software, we are going live in the Facebook group. So we're going to give everybody a few to get on, see the notification. I just got the notification.
Let me see if I did.
It says
Better have. Ooh.
we've got captions going. Isn't that
Nice.
awesome? Looks good on my end.
Yeah, I see it. I need to figure out why it does it twice. It does socially inclined is live, and then it says socially inclined is sharing a live video. But we'll figure it out.
We will.
Let's see if I can.
So, and we're going to have to give a little grace here because, the notification, like if you're not on it, and it's only 9:59. So we're going to give people, Mary Alice is here. Hey, Mary Alice. And there's going to be a little delay when we share it that way. So through live, but yay, technology. So the reason we're coming back and doing in the group is obviously we want as much engagement as possible happening in the group. So we're going to try this and see what happens. We've had great results, obviously, with the live link to the webinar software, but if we can get you talking in the group,
that's even better.
Even better.
So, what are we talking about today, Miss Julie?
Ooh, blogging. Blogging. So if you have, if you're in Socially Inclined Academy, which is only $15 a month, you know that we're doing a content class. And in content class, we're helping you to come up with hooks, ideas, how to write one piece of content that can be repurposed into many. So you're going to come up with the idea and the structure, and then you're going to repurpose. But today, obviously, blogging is super important if you can get your head wrapped around it. So we wanted to really discuss that, what the importance of it is. And if you pair it with content class, it's not going to be as tall an order as it would be like just thinking about it off the like, oh my gosh, I need to start a blog. Because that's a little scary.
Exactly. Yeah. And last week we talked about SEO. If you missed that one, you can go to the guides in the group and watch the replay. I think the first 20 or 30 minutes, we talked specifically about SEO and SEO tips and why it's important, even if you don't have a blog. But blogging kept coming up last week, which is why we decided we were going to do blogging as our main topic this week.
Exactly. So, and again, everyone that's in our sphere is in a different place. You may be on chapter 20, you may be on 10, you may be on chapter 1, you may have not even cracked the prologue yet. So you may just be, jumping into the online game. But there is a place for blogging. SEO is like number one reason. And I want to back up a second and talk about the fact that to be successful online, you have to have traffic. SEO is what brings traffic to you, eyeballs to you if you have a website, the keywords that are on these blogs. So that's the number one reason why you'd want to have a blog is to attract people to your website, people that don't already know you.
Exactly. And for those of you who do have a blog, for those of you who do have a blog, what do you kind of struggle with and what kind of stops you? And then if you are thinking about having a blog and you don't have one, we would love to know like kind of what's holding you back. Because obviously As Julie mentioned, there's some really great benefits to blogging, even if it's in a very, even if you don't have your own website. There are definitely some benefits to getting blogs out there in some way, shape, or form.
For sure. And we've covered in past Take Action trainings in that series. Even if you don't have a website, you can use Canva to create that mini website. There's lots of ways that you could incorporate a blog there as well. It wouldn't be as highly SEO'd, but there are free alternatives. So WordPress is one, a little scary for the newbie starting out, but it is free. You can get free Wix account and have a free several accounts, even Weebly, other places. You just can't, it becomes paid once you attach your domain to it. So it would have their name would be in the domain. So I want to say hello really quick to the people that have said hey. Again, we're a new format. We're going live in the group. So Carrie, Charisse, Mary Alice, anybody else I know we have a lot more people watching that just haven't said hello, but I did want to recognize and say hello. Hopefully you like the new format. Let us know your comments on there. Sarah Canifex says hello. Her internet's having struggles.
Oh no, that's the worst.
It is the worst.
The worst. All right, so I guess let's talk about some reasons. Some reasons you'd want to have a blog, and we've kind of talked a little bit about them in terms of SEO, because like we mentioned that you can't really talk about SEO for your website without talking about your blog. But why would you want to consider blogging as a business owner?
So for me, the number one is traffic. So I touched on that. It's just to bring people into knowing you. So there's no secret. Last year, we made a commitment to show up, and start the be everywhere. You can't really be everywhere in business, but to show up, in certain areas that we have decided. Blogging has always been something that we've done. But when you show up and you have that blog, you can use it to garner traffic. So again, I think we're going to be able to we'll have enough time to go over like the key things that should be on your blog. So one of those, again, is going to be the call to action. So relating that to traffic is once you get them there, they read the blog, they get the win. Hey, Deanne, they get the win. And then it's like, what is the next step? Like, what is the next step with you? So that call to action is it a freebie? Is it a free discovery call? Whatever. So that is the circle of why a blog is so important. And traffic would be the number one reason. So you can't have business without eyeballs, without traffic, without people to buy from.
Exactly. And I kind of like blogging from the standpoint of establishing your authority, especially when you're kind of beginning and maybe you don't have a whole lot of credit per se to your name. Not that you need a whole bunch of credit to be an expert in something, but when you're trying to establish your expertise, something like blogging is really beneficial for you as a business owner, because it forces you to kind of to keep learning, because you're putting out content. So you have to keep learning. And it also makes you a lot more adept at explaining your craft and your expertise, because you're putting it, if you're doing it correctly, you're putting it in a way where people who need to hear your message are able to understand it, hear it, and understand it.
Exactly. And it's relatable to you, number one, building know, like, and trust, but also to the reader. And it puts them on that authentic level of, oh, she feels my pain. She knows right where I'm at. Even if, you've moved beyond whatever you're teaching, that you've been there, done that, creates that, oh, well, she must know. Like Savita, I'm not sure if Savita's here, but she does financial. So if she relates whatever the blog post is and she brings points about how it affected her along the way, it just creates that, oh, I'm not alone, and she is the expert in this area.
Exactly. And meeting them where they are, that's a big part of a storytelling brand. And if you are doing any kind of research about what makes or breaks a business in the environment that we're in today, it's a business's ability to connect with people. And you do that through storytelling, which is why blogging really kind of brings that full circle, and helps. It also helps pull, I guess this could be a second point, but it social media is very noisy. And I think everybody who's trying to catch this live video on their news feed, or who spends any amount of time scrolling, even if it's just 5 minutes or if it's 5 hours a day, social media is very noisy. And being able to blog provides that space where you can pull them off of that really noisy environment and have a more intimate place for them to get to know and like you and trust you, which is a precursor to having repeat and loyal clients.
Exactly. I need to break in really quick and say we've got people saying that it's cutting in and out. So I want to just ask really quick, is it okay? Can you get this, or do we need to try to share and go back to the webinar for this one until we figure out? So just weigh in. Deanne says there's a little static in the background. My fan is running. It might be me. I can't make it not run.
Yeah, Mary Alice is getting some, but
I just want to make sure. She said it was cutting in and out. So if you can only hear every third word, then you're not. So I just want to make sure that's not the case. Static is
Deanne says
okay.
it's doable. It's not that bad.
Okay.
All is good. Just quick occasional pauses. All right. Growing pains here in 2022. It's all part of the process.
Exactly. All right. So Deanne also said that, to be honest, the word blogs sort of makes their stomach turn. I feel it. That was one of the reasons for content class. The content class is going to, number one, teach you how to pull together any piece of content. It's perfect for blogging. It's perfect really for anything, but it's really perfect for blogging because you're starting with that big point. So hopefully after a few content classes, it won't seem as hard, but it is a big job. And especially when consistency, so I'm going to say number 3 is what we're talking about. Consistency is key when it comes to blogging. You need to set some type of schedule that you're going to get to. Number one for me, it is because if it's not something that I don't love to do, then I will put it on the back burner and not get back to it. There are other pressing things. So you need to set a schedule and actually meet that schedule. Make it a priority to do that, because just like us saying we were going to show up, in 2021, look at all the goodness that has happened from showing up. Blogging is just one form of showing up. So if you do it, granted, you're not going to love it. I'm sorry. Some people will love it, but if you don't love it, you're still going to reap the rewards, and it makes it easier. So a little reference to grit, grind, and grace, and like bringing it around to, you don't get motivation until you do the thing and get the win.
For sure.
To bring it back around to do it more. So it's like exercise. You got to see a little results before it becomes like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah, I'm curious. So Riley, I know, is on here. I saw her in the chat just a few minutes ago, but do you like to blog, Riley? Do you have a blog? She's an author, which is why I'm asking her that question. I feel like it could go either way. Like, as an author professionally, you could really love blogging, or it could just seem like such a tedious little chore. So I would love to hear her input on that.
She already said content. This is on my 2022 goals. And as an author, I just can't write about writing.
Oh,
which I get that. So my target audience is the reader. So figuring out that angle is where I'm at now. So let's talk about that just a second, because the reader, so she's, I know one of the niches is romance. It's not really romance, but
oh, it is.
so
Isn't
it
it like fiction? Not. It's like
it's
more than
fiction,
fictional. It's
but
like sci-fi romance. Maybe I'm making that up, but it's really cool. Riley, let us know exactly the niche, please.
um I know, but I'm gonna wait and let her say. So, but so you're gonna write on things that are gonna pull
There we go.
those people to you. Paranormal romance, thank you. Um, bring those people to you. So it's going to be on the grand topic of paranormal romance, like what makes a good story. What is like, you could even outline some other authors that are in your niche and what they've done right, whatever. So when they are searching, okay, so here's the point for the blog. When they go to Google and they type in paranormal romance authors or some other keywords, that we want your blog, your website to come up and have the opportunity to learn about you and understand what it is, and want to buy the book. Okay, so what is it that you can say about that? Like, get into especially some fun things, like why is it that they like that? The benefit of reading that, it's able to, I don't know, let go, live in a different dimension, whatever it is. Like from those angles, what does the reader get out of reading that? And I think that would be a good angle. Anything to add to that, Jess?
No, I thought that was really good. Um, I was looking at some of the comments that we're having, but yeah, it just like we seem to talk about every time we show up live, whether it's content class or back in 2021 when it was our Take Action training. It's all about what they're reading. So I can totally relate to Riley not knowing how to write about writing, but like Julie mentioned, that's not what your readers want to read. They want to read um,
About the
things that
experience,
yeah,
about
things
the
that lead them to that the paranormal romance.
elements of a great paranormal romance. You know, I'd have to think on it a little bit more, but I'm sure we could brain dump and come up with 20 topics,
I'm
in
sure.
a 30-minute session, probably. Um, let's see. Hey,
Yeah, we got
Laura.
some good questions.
Yep, we're gonna.
So Lisa, you get annoyed at the different links you can have on each platform. Um, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure how to address that because
I think it's
I
just.
I just kind of blog on one platform. So if that is what overwhelms you and stops you, I would urge you to just find one that works for you and stick to that.
So I think she might be confusing blogging with long form social media posts. They
Oh, yeah.
can be similar. Your blog could be repurposed into that, but for today's topic, and we can move into the other right now, but for the purposes of what we're calling a blog, would be writing on your website a true blog that is broken down by topic that your reader would be interested in. Okay, so, but step two of that could be that you have that on your website, and they can be as long as you want on WordPress, Wix, Weebly, Squarespace, whatever. They can be epic. Um, but there are other platforms like Medium. So we do want to touch on that. There are other places that you can guest blog to bring people in. So Medium might have a cap, is might be what she's talking about. I can't think of any others. LinkedIn has blogging that you can blog right on LinkedIn.
Yeah, exactly. Um,
Oh, I got you. She says, sorry. So I'm having to monitor. It says I write blogs and then I spend ages cutting bits out to find the post to fit the posts. I get that.
yeah,
So, and that's the one thing in content class that like the repurposing of that is like taking that blog. You can make 30 posts out of a great blog post. So,
exactly. So don't be afraid to really get the mileage that you deserve out of a blog post that you spent a lot of hard work on.
Sure. And shameless plug for the Social Incline dashboard. If you use a scheduler like ours or Hootsuite or some other scheduler, most of them have where you write the post once and then you've got the tabs and you can edit in one post, really short for Twitter, and it'll tell you the length of the characters. So Facebook and Instagram are about the same. LinkedIn is about the same. So if you write for those three, and then you've got to shorten it tremendously for Twitter. There's other places you can post as well, but if you use a dashboard like ours, it will shortcut your work as well.
Exactly. No problem with shameless plugs around here. All right. So Laura, I love this question because I've actually done blogging for network marketing before. She wants us to discuss blogging for network marketers. Do you need a CTA for every blog post? How often should I mention what we promote? Her niche is self-care for working moms over 40. Yes, I remember that, Laura, because we did a Facebook facelift for you a while back. I think blogging for network marketers, and Julie, you can fight me on this if you want, but I think if blogging is important for anybody, it's important for network marketers. And that is for a number one reason, and that is you have a lot of competition as a network marketer. And having a blog goes back to number two, it establishes your authority and it helps you look like you didn't just pick up some low cost business opportunity and you're trying to see if you can get, your products for free this month. You look like you're committed, and because you're establishing your authority, you're putting yourself head and shoulders above the other reps in your network marketing company.
Exactly. And again, we're going to stress that the topics for the blog are the things surrounding whatever your network marketing is. So yours is moms over 40. Okay. So the things they would be interested in that relate back to what you sell. So if you sell skincare, it would be tips on, not necessarily a tip for a specific product that you sell. I guess it could be, but I'm going to take it really easy. Like, why do you need toner? So like y'all know me. Like, I have to know the why to everything. If I'm going to commit to doing anything, I need to know why I'm spending the time on it. Okay. So if it's going to be skincare for me, and I don't know what toner does, I'm not buying it because I'm not spending 30 bucks or how much ever it is. I need to know what it does. Okay. So same with fitness. Why would core exercises benefit? If it's, whatever it is, how it relates to what you're selling. So it's not a direct pitch for that. The second part, I don't know if it was your question or somebody else's question, is about the CTAs. On a blog, all blogs should have a CTA, in my opinion. You might find other people that do not think that, but 100% to me, a blog should. You've gotten them to the website to read the blog, and at the end, it's like you have to tell people what to do next. And I believe wholeheartedly too that on social media posts, you should tell them the next step. It doesn't have to be a promo every single time. Let's adhere to the 80-20 on social, but on a blog, heck yeah. It needs to be promo, like what to do next, like discovery call. Here's a product that works here. So if it's about the toner, this is the toner. Like, check this out. So 100% on CTAs. Anything to add, Jess?
Yeah, well, no, that was great. The CTA, like Julie mentioned, it does. And CTA, by the way, Lisa, thank you for asking that question.
Oh, sorry.
It stands for call to action. It's really where you're letting someone know what the next step is in your customer journey without calling it that. So maybe it's in Laura's case, because she's a network marketer, I would strongly suggest that most of her CTAs be something that further pulls them into a more intimate space. where she can build know, like, and trust with them, which would be like a private Facebook group, or it would be, which I know she has an awesome one, or it would be her mailing list or something like that, where she has officially captured them and their contact information at the end of her blog. And that CTA may look like, want more tips for reclaiming your time, or finding time for yourself, then sign up for my 10 tips on how to do that. And that's what she sends out in her first autoresponder when someone joins her newsletter. So that's how the call to actions kind of work in synergy with blogging and getting people onto that quiet, intimate space that we like to do. Exactly. Or that we like to get you.
And we did a whole TAT on call to actions, but you can have multiple call to actions. We always talk about, you got to start somewhere. So if you just have one, that's okay. We talked about the fact that if you have nothing, start a Facebook group and you can push everyone into that Facebook group. Or you can have just sign up for your newsletter, right? You can have straight to a product. You can have your freebie. So we have multiple freebies. It can be, give me another thought. Discovery call. So there's no shortage on ideas, and especially ideas that are like easy to implement. It can be even on a blog. I don't love this, but it can be to comment to get something. So number one, that helps with generating know, like, and trust and social proof on the post. But so come up with some call to actions, or just one, but in them all in one.
All right. And Laura actually has a follow-up question, and I love this one too. For those of you in network marketing, listen up, especially if you don't have a blog yet and you are kind of at a standstill in growing your downline and your customer base. She asks, do you recommend being direct about the company name and product, or do you recommend creating more curiosity and hinting at the product and have them go further to find out what it is? We have actually talked extensively about this in previous lives. I'm trying to remember. I'm not sure it was recorded. I feel like it was probably in office hours or coffee and questions from like this time last year. But my personal suggestion would be to do a gentle combination of both. I think it can feel very icky if you keep it totally hidden on your website what it is you sell. Also, I'm not sure about your company, but for Beachbody, for instance, if you had a website, you had to have a disclaimer at the bottom of your website that said, we are independent Beachbody coaches, so and so and so and so. So that automatically is keeping it from being just hinting. But as far as the CTA, I think it's good to kind of maybe do a combination of both. Because the reality is if you are blogging with value-led content, meaning you are giving value and not just 4 reasons you should be drinking Shakeology every day, but it's actually like 4 habits that are going to change your life. That's like the difference between a value-led title topic and a product pitch-led title topic, right? So if you're blogging value-led, then people are going to keep coming back, even if they know, oh, Laura's that rep for that company. They'll keep coming back because you're doing your job in terms of building know, like, and trust and serving them. Anything to add, Julie?
Yep. So the reason that people teach to create that curiosity, and I want to preface that most of the time they're referring to own social posts to create it and make people curious about it, is so that they will message you. It's much easier to sell someone in a direct message because you're building that rapport with them. So that I just want to, again, I'm about the why. So for anyone here that doesn't know why people stress that is the why. To me, it doesn't apply as much to a blog. So I would say that in the blog setting that I would be less creating curiosity than trying to you've already gotten them to your website. Okay. You need to give them the next step. Granted, the next step might not be straight to the product. It might be the call that establishes that. So you could create a little bit of curiosity, but people won't jump through a ton of hoops. They just won't. There's too much out there. You know, we talk about this a lot too. This microwave society, they want it now, now, now. So they don't have a long attention span. So do what you can in that CTA to get them to act and take the next step immediately.
Exactly. And Laura, I want to back up and say with Julie's explanation on that, I 100% agree. Because you create the curiosity with your social media posts, saying something like, that's why you're blogging, right? So that you can get people off of social media to come read your blog. And then in that blog where you already have that more quiet, intimate space, that's not the time to keep creating curiosity as much as you are on social media. That's the time where you kind of like open up and say, this product, I really love it. This is why. This is my experience with it. I've built an entire empire around it, and here's how you get involved with it, kind of thing. So that was excellent perspective, Julie. Thank you.
Awesome. Yes, I love all the questions too. All right, I hope we got everyone so far. I don't see anything new coming in. So anything extra to add about blogging? Again, so we get this all the time as well. How often should I blog? So we talked about earlier consistency. Whatever you can commit to. Ideally, once a week. If you cannot commit to that, don't do it. Every 2 weeks is fine. Once a month is fine. If you're going to do once a month, I would, we're batchers as well. I would go ahead and do 4 of them, or 3 of them, do a few, go ahead and put 1 or 2 on the website, because there's nothing worse than going to someone's blog and there's 1. You need to have that, something else for them to see in case they don't do the call to action, but they want to read another blog. So I would release at least 2 or 3 if you're starting a new blog. Once you do it once a week or once every 2 weeks, there's no problem, because you're going to have other things to relate back to. And that's something else you're going to be able to do in a call to action is once you have several of them, you can push them to another blog post that is related. Again, I like to be a little.
Why would you want to do that, Julie?
For SEO. So on your website, so we talk about SEO too, because it's a big part of getting traffic. Inbound links. So on your website, if you have a link from one page to another page, Google likes that.
Exactly.
It's the easiest way to say that.
Yep. And if Google likes it, then people are more likely to find you.
Yay.
Which is the goal, right?
Yep.
All right.
So does anybody have I know we can open it up in a few minutes because we've got 30 minutes, but I do want to ask one final question about blogging. If anyone doesn't have one, wants to start one, and doesn't have this grasp on what they should be writing about, if not, fine. And even if you do have one and you're not sure what you should be writing about, because again, it should be from the perspective of what the reader would enjoy.
But do you want them to comment? And
oh yeah,
you didn't finish it.
Comment. Leave me a comment if you need help. This is your time, but we're gonna move on so we can come back to blogging if you have any follow-up questions as you're sitting here listening to whatever. So now is the time to open up for questions about anything and everything.
Exactly. This is where we go from coffee, where you're listening and learning,
and sipping coffee,
or tea, or water, or whatever, to questions. So this is the part of Coffee and Questions where it's all about you, so you can ask us anything. And if no one asks us anything, then we'll just start talking.
Like we do.
Yeah.
While you're thinking about what you'd like to ask, I will start talking about the email that we sent out yesterday. Who saw the email? It was sort of a little year-end review, kind of where we were, where we're going, the things that are important to us this year. Laura's got a good question.
She does.
But I'll finish on the email. So the email just talks about our, we've wrapped up the Take Action training from last year. If you're new to business, in my opinion, that's really where to start. We covered some of everything, sort of just like this blog, but there was a lot more of the how in the TATs. It was the what, where, the what, why, the why, what, the what, why, how of it all. Golly.
I think Julie needs another mimosa this morning.
I need another cup of coffee. I'd like to have a mimosa though. And then we started Academy. So if you don't know about Academy, that's where our content class, there's 80 courses in there. There's planners, there's toolkits that get dripped out every month. It's only $15 a month. We talked about in the email this office. Oh, did we talk about office hours?
Yeah, that was kind of our CTA.
Yep. So join us for office hours. So I'd love to know if you like the new format where we're sort of picking up a little bit on that TAT feel by having a anchored topic that we sort of teach on so that people still have the free live value.
Exactly.
And of course, YSP. So I'll save that for a second. So remind me to go back to the announcement from YSP.
To the changes for YSP. All right. So Laura, she asked, and I see Laura, Tracy, and Janice's question. We are getting there. Blogging and Pinterest go together. Being new at both, what would you recommend as far as daily actions? It's overwhelming. Yes, it is overwhelming, but we do have some tips.
Yep. So blogging. So let's say that you decide to blog once a week. Okay. Then you should 100% be creating pins around that. So it's going to be, the pins are going to be the ahas, the tips, the benefits, whatever the points are in the blog, you can use each one of those to create pins. Yes, it sounds like a lot of work, but for traffic, Pinterest is the number one place to garner traffic to your blog. The life of a pin is over 3 months. Contrast that with the life of a tweet a year ago was 24 seconds. I don't know what this year's thing is. So if you put the effort into putting a pin out, it will live there and have the chance to be seen for at least 3 months. So if they are highly informative, that is sending the traffic. So as many pins as you can make. I would strive to have a pin a day. So create as many pieces of content off of that. You can use a scheduler, again, like Socially Inclined. If you don't use Socially Inclined, I would suggest Tailwind because it has some other specific features for Pinterest, or you can hand pin them. We understand not everyone can buy a tool, so you can hand pin them. And then last pro tip on this, if you go to our blog, you'll see that we always make a pin graphic, a pin size graphic, and you can pin it straight from your post. So there's one in every every blog post. Sorry, that is one pin. We do create others that get pinned as well, and we schedule those. Is that good? Did that answer that?
I thought that was great. I was going to talk about our pin in our blogs, but you brought it home with that one, so we're good. Tracy, she needs help. She doesn't know where to start. She has a blog on her website, and she's posted an intro to who she is and about her business, but that's where she stopped.
Tracy's
happens a lot.
Art. Remind us your niche. You're in the art niche.
Yes.
But I forget specifically.
Hey, Tracy, drop the link to your website real quick. I'm curious. I want to see it, and I'm sure everyone else wouldn't. If they don't want to see it, they can just not click on it. But I want to see it.
Jessica, I can share it so that people don't have to leave. I'll share it on the screen. I hope.
And while you're doing that, Tracy, Janice has a handmade craft business and would like to start a blog. Ideas for topics. Yes. Man, we shared so many ideas about this in content class this week and last week. But again, it's so handmade crafts. That's a little, I'll be honest, it's a little more challenging than just like the fitness niche or the self-care niche or the skincare niche or even the bankruptcy niche. I can think of 50 blog post topics right off of that. But the handmade craft business niche is a little bit more nuanced, but you still have to think about it the from the view of your ideal client who is going to buy from you that's reading this blog. And I think that keeping a general tone of why handmade is important, why supporting small businesses is important, and then maybe even some how-tos, because just because you're sharing how to do crafts doesn't mean they're not going to buy your crafts. Instead, it's just establishing you as an authority in the handmade crafts niche. So I think there is kind of a wealth of topics there. You just have to peel the onion back a little further to get to the goodness.
Exactly. I had a point. I lost it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Because I used onion reference and you're like, Jess, that's so 2002 Shrek. Come on.
No, I liked it. Oh,
Hi, Tracy.
hate
Good
it.
to see you.
Dang. Maybe it'll come back to me. Sorry. All right. So Tracy, yes. Wait, I remember. Oh, wait, hold on. So the how-to, I just had a little point about the how-to on if you're a crafter. So people just love to see the behind the scenes, the how you do it. Just because you show them how to do it doesn't mean that they're going to love it, that they're going to want to do it themselves, but it introduces you to the product that you're making or other products, other craft type things. So a lot of people don't have time to craft, even if they'd love to, but they have an appreciation for it and they would love to buy that type of things. Gift guides, that's a huge, like what, especially when you're coming up into, what to buy for Christmas, the top 10 handmade items for Christmas, a gift with love, um, things like that. Like why, like experience gifts are a big thing. Well, so is handmade. So, and people are always wanting to like impress people with a gift. It doesn't have to be high money, high whatever. It needs to be thoughtful. All right. That's what I had on that. Sorry. All right.
Exactly. And Tracy, if you want to put out your first not who am I blog, Valentine's Day is coming up. I don't know what kind of handmade crafts you do, but even if they're for kids, people like to buy little Valentine's Day goodies for their kids. So whether it's for kids or whether it's for moms or whether it's for dads or whether it's just for the average person, you could put out a blog post that's like 3 super thoughtful, unique ideas for Valentine's Day 2022.
Yep. And then you can repurpose, like that can be a social post that pushes them to the blog. And then on that blog, you can have the CTA. You can even embed your 3 products. Like I think that could be highly promotional.
That's right. Tracy is the witchy woo woo paint party. God, I'm sorry I
Exactly.
keep forgetting that. The cat's whiskers, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so why not throw a witchy? So you have such a niche. And the more you niche down, the easier it is to sell once you get in front of your people. So like have a guide to witchy woo woo. And honestly, I would love to read a blog about what a witchy woo woo paint party entails anyway. Like walk me through that 2 to 4 hours and tell me like all the fun little nuances of how it's different than like just a what is it, sips and strokes.
Mm-hmm.
Just
That's in our area. Yes.
That.
All right. So yeah, on your topic, it can be how it relieve anxiety or how painting or can relieve anxiety. We'd have to use that up a little bit, but you want it to be personal. But how getting a group together and having a group party, how fun that is, how much that's an experience gift. It can be a gift. It can like the things that come out of that, like you're building bonds with your friends, whatever, just a fun night. So I can think of a lot of different angles for this. But again, you are appealing to what appeals to them. Okay, so around that topic.
Exactly. And Tracy, do not sweat it. You know what, girl? You have a website.
That's
And
right.
for those of you who want to show her some love, like you have a website and you built it yourself, that's a huge freaking deal. So whether it's perfect or not, that's not why we wanted to share it. We wanted to give you some honest feedback because you like to show up with us live. So
Exactly. And in case anybody, again, on the call to action, this is a call to action. It would be a button that says book your in-person party here, paint party here. Okay. So call to actions, buttons, a product, a statement that just says what to do next. Okay. So again, this isn't on her blog per se right there, but it just made me think about that.
Mary Alice has a great one.
All right.
And if you have more comments about
I'm going to I don't know what Mary
Cat
Alice's
Whispers.
was, but real quick before we move on to it, because I'm here. So there was another question about the pen. So you'll see if I hover over this image. This is a Chrome extension that if I click this, it will let me pin this image. That's not pin size. That's blog size. But the same thing goes here for blogging. This is the pin that we've created. If I click this, it's not going to show you because I'm only sharing that one page, but it pops up the window to pin this. Okay, if that makes sense. And then the anatomy of a blog, really quick. We didn't touch on this. So you want to break it up and you want to have your headers large and you want to make sure there's white space and make sure that it's easily read. Okay, now Mary Alice's question.
Love it. Yeah, and Mary Alice's is really good too. And it's kind of a testament to what we were talking about earlier in terms of getting in your ideal client's mind, not yours. And she's been with us a long time, so she already kind of knew that because she started out with maybe it's just because of how I search for blogs, social, etc. But most of what I find from crocheters online is from people who design patterns for other crocheters rather than finished objects for non-makers. It definitely makes it harder to figure out what to write. For sure. And Mary Alice, I can tell you've been around us for a while because you already kind of knew the answer. That is because you're the consumer of those crochet patterns. So you really got to keep trying to get into the mindset of those who are buying finished crochet products. So again, I think we've talked about this before, but like new moms who are looking for something. Did you have the baby loveys or was that someone else? And if you don't have the baby loveys, then I'm sorry. I know you have a lot of other cool things though. So I would almost say take a look at your Etsy store, take a look at one of your listings, and then make a blog post from that and like who you visualize being your ideal purchaser of that crocheted koozie or crocheted blanket or whatever it is that you have there.
Exactly. And I think you recognizing the fact that most of the people in your niche are getting it wrong. So, yes, if they're selling the patterns, okay, so yes, they are looking for that. But if you're selling to the end user, it has to be what they would be searching, or you're not doing yourself any good. And I got to circle back. I'm so sorry. I realized that I was not on the right page to be sharing this blog thing, and it was a question. So I'm going to go for it again. Here, when I hover over, you'll see this little Pinterest shows up. This was the blog image. Hopefully you're seeing it in real time. And then there's all the points. Here is the pin. All right. And when you click it, it opens up a new window. All right. So we actually make a pinnable post on our blog copy. And then this is what I was just talking about to have. All right. Sorry, I was on the wrong screen. Party foul.
Perfect.
Oh, Tracy says, thank you so much. She has 15 ideas for posts now. That is perfect. We'll get you through 4 months if you do one a week.
I want to go back and say thank you. I want to read Tracy's thank you. I'm super proud of myself. It was really tough and I cried a lot making it. Oh my God. Do I feel that or what? My first website, of course, now 6 or 7 years later, I've done a lot of them. I've worked with Julie a lot. So designing a website is, I wouldn't say easy work, but it's a lot easier than when I built my first one when I had no idea what I was doing. And you know what, Tracy? I cried a lot too. There.
Yeah, everyone. It's like all the things that we haven't really talked about grit, grind, and grace here, but that the struggles of entrepreneurship, and not having anybody to celebrate. Oh my gosh, I just literally built my own website, and for not to have anybody that can high five you and be like, yes, I know how hard that is, whatever. So that, here in Socially Inclined and like this format for office hours, and then Grit, Grind, and Grace as well, to come together for those things. Like, you need a support system. You need accountability. Savita, I don't know, Savita must not be here today. I hope she got the memo. But yesterday, she sent me something. So I sent back to her and I'm like, hey, how is that boot camp coming? Like, where are you with that? So like that nudge of, tell me where you are. Just that, getting somebody back on track if they're not, if they've, what comes to mind is us podcasting. So we've sort of, that was addressed in our email too. Even though it was super successful, I went back and I listened to a couple of them. I was like, dang, those are good. We had to choose, what we were going to do last year. We did 9 or 10 of them, and they were great. And, we're committed to bringing them back again. But again, that's one of those things that with a little nudge, I don't know where we'd have found the time, but we probably would have. So having that support system to say, you're doing a great job. This is what will help.
Exactly. And me personally, I'm kind of hoping that having the Grit, Grind, and Grace community behind us is going to put that little nudge pressure behind us to stick with that, because it was, not only was it fun, it was super
therapeutic.
Yeah, therapeutic, sort of. But we were also reaching people. We had so many people that we get traffic from places like Apple and Spotify, and traffic that you don't get if you don't have a podcast. So,
yep. And I guess speaking of Grit, Grind, and Grace, I do want to, before we get out of here, we can still take anything else that we have, but I want to show, specifically speaking of, gosh, I don't know which one I am. Jessica, you're gonna have to tell. Oh, here we go. That if you have a podcast, if you have a blog, if you have products, can you see Grit, Grind, and Grace yet?
It's coming in.
Okay. So
you're on a blog right now, not Grit, Grind, and Grace, but there we go. It's here.
It's coming. Okay. So with your listing on here, you're going to be able, so we obviously feature members, but look at Jen. Jen's here. So Jen took the time to add some products, and because she's the only one that's done it so far, we haven't even added any. Hers, all 3 are showing up loud and proud. That's awesome. So there's a place for discussions, but I wanted to show you really quick. So some of the things that are here that for the SEO value, to have your listing here. So like products and services, if I go there again, you're going to see there's Jen's products and services. This is a place for you to advertise, to network. So there's coupons and discounts. There's podcasts. So if you haven't seen our podcast from our own website, I've pulled 2 here so far. So you can go and listen to them. So that for you, if you have a podcast or if you have a blog, you are able to add yours. Here, you'd have to go into I'm in as Jen right now. Jen, sorry. We're going to go view your listing really quick. Jen did such a great job. So here's her cover. Probably came right off of probably came off Facebook. There's her beautiful logo. You can send her a message. You can show her phone number. You can write her a review. And you'll see that she added a photo album and she added products. So if she had added a community article or blog, if you will, about the immunity boostingness of elderberry.
Whatever. No disrespect to you, Jen.
Yeah, please. Sorry. But any article
Immunotherapy.
on the topic, if she had a podcast, all of that shows here. So we are super proud of this, and how you can connect to each other. There's even more coming, but anyway, this is Jen's because I just happened to be logged in as her because one of
All
her
right.
products didn't have a picture.
So let me pause real quick and say, Tracy, yes, the cat is out of the bag. As of our email yesterday, Grit, Grind, and Grace is open for business. Business. Open for women in business. So you can sign up now if you're ready. We just wanted to do a little troubleshooting and make sure that the sign up process was going smoothly. And Sharice is wondering about Grit, Grind, and Grace, what it's all about and how it works.
Yeah, I'm on the join page. So you're just going to go, there's a call to action at the top that's to join. You can see there are 3 levels. So you can, for $25 a year now, not a month. Most directories that give this much value, whatever, that's that month. The $75 a month is like the mid ground for most directories. So for $25, you get your listing. You can add in multiple in one category. You can add photos and you can add 3 deals. All right.
And by the way, those prices are annual.
Yes.
So we're way more
not
affordable.
Monthly. Yep. And then there's a 50. You get a few more. You can actually add 5 products. You can add 3 deals. And then we just went ahead and made this ambassador program. The ambassador is you get unlimited everything. Plus, if you scroll down, you're going to get a video interview. We haven't interviewed anyone yet, but an example, Jen is an ambassador, Savita's an ambassador, Mary Alice, I don't think has created her listing yet for it to show live yet. So there are several of you on this call. Kim is here. Kim is an ambassador. So you're going to get a video interview, just like this. We're going to talk about your business. It's going to introduce you. You're going to get a shout out in our Facebook group. And then you're going to get a feature on Instagram, Facebook, just sometime throughout the year.
YouTube, which is going to be a lot bigger deal here in about 2 months.
Correct.
Than it is right now.
Exactly.
Thank you, Deanne.
Yep. Oh, Deanne's on here. Sorry, Deanne. Yes.
Deanne's
let me show Deanne's. Sorry, because Savita was having what was she saying? How awesome. She was having
internet trouble.
FOMO. Not FOMO is not a good word, but anyway, she loves your branding. Let me put it that way, Deanne. So here's Deanne. We did this in Take Action. So we did this in the Take Action series. If you don't have the Take Action series, you got to go back because we did all this stuff live with you. So we have recordings of them. And look how awesome it is. So as soon as Deanne gets with the program and adds she's got coaching products she can add here. You'll get to learn more about her and know what she's got. But she did a great job. And I love how she did this pattern interrupt with the difference in the color here. Good job, Deanne. Makes it easier to read.
Man, she really must have been learning from the best this last year.
Shameless plug.
All right. Kim Bazin. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. She's still technically a newbie to Socially Inclined. And I think you came in last Thursday morning. And she has to say that she's loving and impressed with the value we provide.
Aww.
That is so nice. Thank you
Makes
so
our
much.
heart sing. It is. It's, that is why we do the things. It is so great to, get that feedback because it's hard to do all the things. So we want to do more of what makes the biggest impact. So thank you, Kim.
Tracy wants to know if you can upgrade if you sign up at one level and then you have the ability to go bigger later.
You sure do. Right in from the program here. It's actually better than the upgrade downgrade process in YSP. And we do need to touch on that really quick. And we have 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Was there anything else here really quick before I circle back to YSP?
Nope.
Oh, Laura says, what do we mean at YouTube in 2
I
months?
was trying to type out a response right now, but if you can
Oh,
take
sorry.
it.
We're upping. So we upped our show up game last year. We're bringing podcasting back and YouTube back on top of Grit, Grind, and Grace is kind of the main thing, and the still showing up. So your social plan, dang it, I'm not logged in. Anyway, so your social plan, we have been asked forever and 1,000 million bazillion times. Canva templates, Canva templates, Canva templates. You know, if you buy all of the new bundles, niche bundles come with Canva templates. We have decided to add Canva templates. So if you log into your social plan, we quietly added them for January and February. They're already there if you haven't found that hidden surprise. So now you have double the content because you have 30 motivation that are flat images, copy and paste. And now you have 30 more that are motivation that are completely different that have captions. So you have twice the content, and 30 of each of the sections is Canva templates, and the price is still the same. That's all I got to say about that.
Boom.
If you're not in it, you're missing out.
Boom. Someone asked what you built GGG on. It's not WordPress. It's something more custom.
It is. It is a custom. And if you, I haven't put this out there, but we would build a directory for someone if you wanted to start a directory. It's pretty custom, and it does a lot. Obviously, it does a lot.
Let's just say, I'm glad Julie Herndon is on my team.
That goes both ways. So I do want to say thank you, Jessica. So we committed to showing up. Jessica committed to like stepping up and stepping out as of January of December of the year before, probably December 2020, I would say, is like when we decided, okay, you know, we're going to do this and we're going to like show up. So thank you for showing up, because together we are better. The sum of our parts are better, whatever that is. You know, I'm not the quote person. But you get it. We complement each other. We complete each other. What movie is that from? We complete each other.
I think I'm just like the facilitator, because Julie has the brilliant ideas. She's been sitting on Grit and the idea for Grit, Grind, and Grace for a long time.
And you
just
know
like
what?
She was
so
sitting
funny
on Socially Inclined. This is going to knock your socks off for a really long time. And then, like, you know, it's just hard to do all the things. So
it is. And I don't share.
I was just like, do it.
Yep. So, and I don't share all the things yet. So I'll have things working, and, you know, as an entrepreneur, like all these great ideas, like we could make money. I could start something tomorrow, make money on it, whatever. It's got to be what is you're passionate about. So Grit, Grind, and Grace was in #1 win for passion for me, to help you all. But there's things like I'll come up with, and I won't even like bring it up because like I didn't want to like stress you out thinking about one more thing. So I like known about it for like a year, been working on it in the background. So.
All right, so let's finish with some of Marcy's feedback, because this is a super positive note. Thank you again. She said, thank you for covering Grit, Grind, and Grace. I recently started with YSP, and I'm absolutely loving the ease of use and the level of service you all provide. Shout out to Lauren. She's in Alaska right now, so I think she's just now getting up. But shout out to her and everything she has done with support in the last 2 or 3 months. You have made the process so much easier than I could have ever hoped for with regards to social media posting. It was my nemesis, and now I'm beginning to embrace it.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm going to screenshot. You know what? I'm going to pin that.
Oh, I can screenshot it. I got it screenshotted. I'll crop it. And I do want to say, well, so first,
we got to go
so much, Marcy. We do have to go. Thank you, Marcy. And I want to say Debbie is here live and pulling comments. So Debbie's part of the support team as well, and she helps to bring all the things, especially the YSP. She helped to get the Canva templates in. Yay! So we met the deadline. So
Woo.
all the
Thank you,
things.
Tracy, for agreeing with her. That's always sweet.
All the things. All right.
All
This has
right.
been, I loved today's office
I thought it was
hours.
great. And we have 101 comments on a Facebook group live, which is awesome. So
Yep,
week over week, it's going to compound and really help us reach more people in our group.
Yep.
So thank you for showing up.
Yep. And I'm going to say it for Savita. The only drawback is there's no 2X button.
Maybe that's why I pushed to have us here.
I know. All right. Thank y'all so much for joining us. Come to the group and comment if you like the new format. Just come on the post where we invited you. Come and comment on that post if you like this new format being in the group. And if you have anything else to share. And we'll be back live Tuesday for content class. If you haven't joined SI Academy, it's $15 a month. And you get us live for 30-ish minutes there. Woo. Same thing.
Yep. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. We will see you on Tuesday. Have a great weekend.
Bye.